2025 and you would like to up your YouTube game so that you are recording in 4K. Because you've looked around and yes, it's true. Everyone else has upped their game too. I feel like in the past, everyone was like, as long as you have good sound, just record on your phone or whatever you have laying around. But now I look around at like brand new channels with like 3 subscribers are recording in really high definition cinematic 4K with amazing backgrounds. So anyways, I'm going to show you all of the equipment that I have to go with 4K, how I go live with 4K, the software, and also tutorials, which I'm actually really proud of. My tutorials in the past, I used to just kind of record the screen. It was very tiny and you can barely see it. You don't know what's going on. And I couldn't figure out how to zoom in because with Final Cut Pro, you need to be able to learn how to use keyframes, which sometimes they worked for me and sometimes they didn't. They were like very confusing. It took like forever. Whereas now I've switched over to a new software, which takes like 2 seconds. So let's go over the equipment first. So I have a Sony a7S III. You can really use any camera. This is an e-camera, but it's mirrorless. If you use a DSLR, I used to have Canon and those are great too. But whatever you do, go into the settings and make sure you change it to 4K. Otherwise it won't, just because it's trying to save you on battery life and also just space on those little SD cards. It takes up a lot of space to do 4K. The second thing that I got, well, let's go back to the camera. So for the camera to go live and also just to record using like any capture software, I also purchased the Elgato 4K capture card. Now you do have to buy that directly from Elgato. It's not on sale on Amazon yet. In fact, there is another capture card that Elgato has on sale, so don't be fooled because I think it says it can do 4K, but it really like truly can't. You really want the brand new one direct from Elgato, and it's been amazing. I have a whole video on the unboxing of that and setting up and everything else. And the reason you need that, because the whole thing with the Sony camera is it can plug in directly to your computer without using a capture card, which is the reason I switched over in the first place. However, not all software will recognize it as a device, and that's why I switched over to the capture card. So that is everything for that. Now for vlogging, I have switched over, and when I say switched over, I literally just bought this a couple days ago, but you can see my old videos where this is so light and easy to carry. It's like, it's magical versus before I had that Sony camera, the flip out one. And I also had my phone with a gimbal. Now those handles were super heavy and cumbersome and I honestly just hated it and I never used them. So now that I've switched over to this, it's so much, it's like night and day. The only thing is though, so 2 things, you do have to change the settings here to make sure it's doing 4K for you, but also it can only do 4K in horizontal. When you switch to vertical, it's not going to be able to do 4K. I think it does 1080p, but that's it. And I don't do any vertical or reels, so that doesn't matter. And honestly, I think if you're doing YouTube, even if you record something in horizontal, when you go to edit it, you can edit it as a vertical. I don't know why everyone makes such a big deal. Like, you can change the stream, like the shape of the video afterwards to a vertical. So that is my equipment. Now I will say for the Logitech Brio 4K webcam that I do have, and you might be thinking, so this is expensive. I think with the creator kit, it was like $660. The Sony was like, I don't even know. I think it was like $4,000 when I bought it. And then the lens was like another $3,000. And so those are pretty expensive, right? So you might be thinking, okay, the Logitech Brio is a webcam and it's 4K and it's so much easier to hook up. And that is technically true. However, I've noticed the quality from when I record on the Logitech Brio, even though it says it's 4K, it's like a softer 4K. I don't know if that's the right word for it. It just isn't as sharp or defined and it looks great, but it's just not as great as the Sony or even a DSLR camera. So that's my 2 cents for equipment. So to go live, I use Ecamm Live and it is only for Macs, but you have the standard plan and that's plenty for me. I guess if you had interviews, you might want to upgrade to Pro, but it is 1,000 times, 100% reliable. You could record all of your different data sources separately as separate files. It's like amazing. Now, if you don't have a Mac, you can use OBS. It's actually free. The learning curve on like figuring out how to use this is pretty high, but if you have a PC, this is really the only way you can go live live for 4K. If you're thinking, well, there's Crowdcast and EV Mux and Streamlabs and all of the Riverside and all that stuff, they only do 1080p. And even then, I think you have to pay extra to go 1080p. Yeah, some of them only do 720 at the lower tiers. So, and they're a monthly subscription price as well. So one, they're not reliable. You might actually go live 1 out of 10 times. And two, OBS is free. So if you have a PC, I would say just go ahead and use that. So there's that. Now, and if you are going to live stream, the most important part is actually your internet speed. Don't look at the download speed. That doesn't matter. I mean, I guess it does matter if you're for like everyday use of your computer, but the only thing that matters when you're going live is upload speed. So mine is 180 megabits per second, which is more than sufficient. I've noticed that at 20 megabits per second, I can go live, but if I want to go live at 4K, I really need probably like 50 or 80 megabits per second to not have any issues with the video, the sound quality, or the continuous like feed of the live stream. So that is something you might want to invest in. And all I did was go to fast.com just to do a speed test. And remember, when you ask to increase your speed, make sure to increase your upload speed, not just your download speed, because some of the servers, especially Spectrum, was like really shady. They like increased my download speed to 200 and then my upload speed stayed at like 5 or 7. It never went up at all. I had to buy like another package, like 2 more up to even get the upload to move. So if you're going to do tutorials, what I actually do is I switched over to Tela. So I'll do a separate video on that because I did buy Screen Studio, which is so unfortunate. They had a lifetime deal. I'm like a sucker for like lifetime deals. I get FOMO, like, oh my God, I have to buy. In fact, I bought 2 licenses to Screen Studio. If you want them, let me know. You can have them. It totally sucks. And so Screen Studio did all those things that I wanted to do. It like expands things to, zoom in, but it does it kind of like on an auto way, and doing the editing was really difficult. And just the layout too was not as great. So I switched over to Tela. I love Tela. It's amazing. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And it's totally worth it. So that's how I record my tutorials. I think I covered everything, right? So let's just recap for equipment. You need a camera that can do 4K. I recommend either a DSLR like Canon or Sony, and then you need a lens if you want the bokeh, but you're going to have to buy a lens anyway. The second thing is you're going to need a capture card if you're using Sony, and honestly, if you're using Canon, you have to for sure use a capture card. I recommend the Elgato 4K capture card. The other ones say they're going to do 4K, but I don't know if I really trust those. This one totally does it. It has very high quality and there's never been any issues. And then the second thing is if you're going to vlog at all, the DJI Osmo is perfect for doing that as well. And with all of your devices, make sure they are set to actually take 4K in, because by default, they will not, to save you disk space and battery life. The next thing is software. So to go live, if you have a Mac, I would recommend Ecamm. If you don't, you're going to use OBS, and everything else cannot do 4K. So don't even try it. Plus it's very unreliable. And if you're going to do tutorials, the best one that I've seen so far is Tela. Now, if you have, I did forget to mention the output, if you're going to actually put something into Final Cut Pro. So when you export inside Tela, you have the option to choose 4K. Inside of Final Cut Pro, it's a little bit more difficult. Once you're done editing like this whole file and you're ready to export it, you're going to go over here to the share button. You're going to go export file. And over here underneath settings, when you choose resolution, you're going to choose the highest one, which is 3840 by 2160. And that is going to ensure that it is going to be 4K. You're going to say next, and it's going to export the file and you'll be done. So hopefully that helped. And I know what you're thinking, or maybe I don't know what you're thinking, but what I was thinking when I first saw this was I will just take my 720 pixel granulated, images and video stock footage, and I will export it as 4K, which you can, but then it's going to get really granularized. It looks really enlarged, and honestly, it just looks really bad. So it would be better just to leave it at 720 than try to export it at 4K, because I have tried to jerry rig it and hope that it would come out 4K, and it just looks really bad. So hope that was helpful, and I hope you're having a fabulous and a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.